All right. Welcome to Living Late Podcast, episode 7.
We're gonna run out of fingers.
We're not there yet. All right. So we skipped a couple weeks there. I'm sure you guys may or may not have noticed, but yeah, we had some stuff going on. So happy to be back.
Some very exciting weeks.
Yeah. All right. So normally we start off the podcast by answering some of the common questions from the latest video. And I don't think we've had a podcast since the latest video. So the latest video was taking the Hot-V LT Supra to the dyno. And we dynoed the car, ran into some issues with the turbos, and made 520 wheel horsepower.
Yep, that's the one that's on the video.
Yep. So I went through and I grabbed some of the common comments and questions. So let's go through them. All right. So a lot of people mentioned about getting some custom billet heads. Many are urging you to find a manufacturer, with several suggesting Steve Morris to CNC machine custom flipped heads. I would definitely be open to it, but I don't want to be the one to have
we're
to
not
pay
footing
for
the
that.
bill. No, we got some ideas on things that we're gonna try and just see where this goes on V2. But
Yep.
At the moment, it's still the dumb idea
Mm-hmm.
being proved out.
Well, we've done some more testing since then. And if any of you have been paying attention to the 1320 video Facebook page, you will have seen that it may or may not have gone down the track. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But all right, let's continue with questions. So a lot of people were suggesting that you could band-aid the port design by having a reverse split pattern cam. Instead of having, a lot of cams you'll see 224 degrees of intake duration and 240 something degrees of exhaust duration. And the reason they do that is because the intake ports are big and the exhaust ports are usually small. Well, we've backed ourselves into the reverse situation, and I would definitely agree. When we started the project, I was thinking that it would be kind of neat to find a cam that is really big on intake duration and really small on exhaust duration. So I definitely agree.
I don't think it's necessary because the valve's so big and the port's so big that a longer duration is not really going to help.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think the better thing to do is just find a straight pattern cam, intake and exhaust, and just get a bigger one.
Yeah.
Because right now it's only, 218 degrees, 50 thousandths?
Right.
That's wee little feller.
Now, if we could get something in like the 240s or 250s on the intake, that would be a lot more favorable, I think.
Well, they'll go to 9,000 RPMs with that kind of cam. But
I don't know about that.
the way you throw boost at stuff?
Okay. Some people were saying could you just hog out the port? I think that's probably where we're going to head with it at some point. And a lot of people were also mentioning you could do a supercharger to not muffle the sound. And since you guys know that we've now run it at the track, I agree. It needs to be louder. It's a little hard to hear over the car in the other lane. So I don't know. We'll definitely be exploring some stuff on that, I think, in the future. But
nitrous. Come on, Jimmy Dale.
Yeah,
work with me. Nitrous.
Jimmy Dale may or may not have
spent a bunch of time with us.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was an exciting weekend. We've had a lot go down.
Mm-hmm.
First off, Force Performance, you need to talk about them.
Yep.
Then we went back to the dyno. Then we went to the track.
Yep.
It's been a battle, straight out, flat out battle.
Yep.
Every hour has been needed, from getting lug nuts on the car, which sounds like a minor task, but when you see how the hub's assembled, to every little detail becomes a hurdle that has to be jumped. And you had to locate lugs, which seemed to be not too bad of an issue.
No.
We had to get the old ones out, the new ones in. We had to address the.
Yeah, it's like one of the weirdest ways to assemble a hub.
Yep.
That I've ever seen on these third gen Supras. It's just weird. So yeah, that turned into a bit of a fiasco. But yeah, I wanted to get through all the comments and questions from the latest video, and then I was
Okay.
going to jump into that. So
Fine, I'll be quiet.
Okay, a lot of viewers were trying to grasp the mechanics of the Hot V setup. Many were confused. They thought maybe the engine was spinning backwards. No, it is spinning forwards, as we've talked about. A lot of people were concerned with the cooling of the, being that the intake valves are not prioritized. I don't think it's going to be a problem now that we've gotten more testing on the thing. I think we're fine there. A lot of people said that they noticed a lot of turbo lag. Honestly, I don't know why the thing lags so bad, because those same turbos on a conventional LS spool lightning fast, and for whatever reason on this combo they just take their sweet time, and I still haven't been able to figure out why they don't like to spool. And I don't know if it's a compressor map thing, like maybe it's in a happier place on the map, maybe it's in a kind of a crappy place on the map with the way that we're using them now, that once they get up out of that bad spot where they're just like consuming all the turbine energy and turning it into heat, I don't know.
Well, I don't agree. I think bottom line is
question.
Yeah. I don't think it's kicking the turbos, because it just doesn't have enough gas flow. We're taking the engine, we're trying to accelerate a 62 millimeter turbo with basically a 2.65 liter.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's not like we're using 3
Yeah,
liters to kick the turbo.
Yeah, but it's a 2.65 liter that makes 120, 130 horsepower. Because it's 260 horsepower, basically, is what that thing would make naturally aspirated.
Right. So until you get the RPMs up,
Yeah.
and it's got a lot of cold piping to fill.
Yeah.
It's got a big, a lot of intercooler to fill. It's got
Yeah.
a lot of intake to fill. You got a lot of volume there that you've got to pack up to get it to start backing in.
Yep.
To create boost.
Yeah. I still think it should spool faster, but because there's Hondas that run those same turbos, and they make about the same power, and I don't know, maybe with a manual you can do more there, but
well, I think once you can sit on the brake and build 2-3 pounds, it's going to be instant. Right now you're trying to do it against a foot brake and launch at 2,000 RPMs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, it's even on the dyno when we were essentially getting the engine up to like 3,000 RPM and then rolling into it, the boost curve was pretty lazy. It's very much like a function of RPM.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would think it had a centrifugal supercharger on it, and it did the same thing at the track. So, I don't know. But all right, next question. Many people.
Good evening, Idaho.
Hello. Many people were asking, "Are we there yet?" Many joking, impatient, given your incredibly fast pace, asking how soon proper heads and new turbos will arrive. Yeah, I mean that's
I love the new turbos.
well, yeah, the new turbos. We've not shown them in video yet, but we have put a set of Force Performance 6262s on it, and they are performing very, very, very well. Not only are they not smoking anymore, which is really cool, but they're also making way more efficiency. They're making more boost, and they're doing it way more efficiently. So, our manifold air temps are lower at 25 pounds of boost than they were at, I think it was like 20 with the old ones. So, I mean, that should tell you a lot.
Yep.
All right. Cameron just sent me a message. What's the cranking noise? That is my computer. I think one of my fans has something doing something dumb. So, unfortunately, I can't fix that easily right now. All right. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to talk about that, like something that like a lot of people have commented are like, man, I would have expected this to be a 10-part series where you kind of drug it out for AdSense and drug it out for getting as many sponsor reads or whatever into the videos as possible. And this should have most YouTubers this would have taken a year. And like even like Jimmy Dale, we got to hang out with him this past weekend. He said the same thing, and it was like part of me is like, I feel like we're going slow. So like it's weird to me to like have everybody say, man, you're going so fast, when I feel like, I don't know, to me I feel like it's just like slow as molasses. Like it's just like, man, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like I feel like it's I constantly feel like we're behind the 8 ball, like we're not keeping up with the pace that I'd like. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that, but
Well, as the projects continue and as we start doing more projects, you'll get a better feel for how long the builds can take.
mm-hmm.
And we'll know by the number of views that we see. If it takes too long, the view counts are going to drop as the projects,
Right.
move forward. If people like the pace, it'll stay consistent with the current view counts.
Yeah, and like I like the pace that we're going, and I hope everybody else does. Like I almost like I don't know if people are like telling us to slow down or like, because to me, like I feel like having the project meet fruition, get to the point where it's making cool sounds and like doing cool stuff. I feel like that's better for everybody. Like so like because like it's not like we've been doing other stuff in between as well.
Yeah.
So like we've been planning out the next couple builds in the background. So like it's not like we've been working on the Supra 100% of the time. Like a lot of our effort has been focused towards other projects, which we're really excited to share with you guys. But
yeah, part of what everybody has to realize is, summers don't last for very long here, and we've got to be prepared for the winter. So not only are we trying to present what's going on now and getting to the track, getting to the dyno, getting everything built for the current project, we're also staging a lot of work in the background so that when winter comes and we're not able to get to the track, we're able to put out, frequent videos and keep the engagement higher.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe leave a comment. Tell me what you think about that one. A lot of people were asking, will we see the Supra at LS Fest East? And the answer to that is yes. A lot of you are excited to hear it in person, and we're excited to let you hear it. So, all right, last one. Some younger and newer viewers are curious about the car itself,
Minnesota.
specifically asking about the Mark III Supra platform and your choice of wheels. So we chose the Mark III. I mean,
It was going to be a different project. It didn't work out.
yeah,
So it was sitting there.
yeah, it was kind of sitting there. There was a family of mice living in the thing, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the thing. I didn't want to put this particular platform into something that was, like had a 750 cert cage or something crazy, where it could if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to feel stupid. Now I'm happy to report that it's working out way better than I expected it to. So we're making some improvements to the car, which you'll see soon. But yeah, I just didn't want to stick it into one of our more I hate to say
More
it,
valuable.
more cherished, more another car that it made sense to put it in that. That's why we chose the Supra. And then the choice of wheels, they came on the car. I hate those things. And they've been taken off. You can actually see it in the thumbnail. We put some different wheels on the car, and I'm much more happy with those. So, you were going to say something. All right, it's gone. Cool. All right. So that's pretty much it from the latest video. I guess we'll go to the live comments, see if anybody had anything to say there. Good evening.
So, Minnesota, hello. Please don't slow down. You have so many interesting ideas and projects that keep us coming back. You seem to have something for everybody. Yeah, definitely don't want to get pigeonholed into we only do one thing. We definitely like the variety. But the pace is pretty daunting. Obviously, it'll be a little bit easier once I retire, but Calvin's having to do all the editing, all of the video work, all the, Cameron's helping out. I don't want to say all and not include his investment, but ultimately, when you look at how much effort it takes to do everything that's happening in the background, it's an enormous amount of work. And so we gotta find a good balance. Loves to see Pops VK Fairmont on the dyno and compare the VVT. I want to do that big time because we've got good numbers from the non-VVT engine. But a big part of the reason that I want to do it is because I want to take the manifolds off and put tubular manifolds on it and look at the difference. I think it's going to pick up a lot of power. There's a lot of people that argue against that, and I'd rather just prove it factually instead of, get the empirical data to compare, not the speculation that you can see so many people have.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to dyno that thing just to get a good A/B comparison. Because
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, taking it to the track, it's definitely making way more power with less boost. And yeah, I'm happy you put that there. The VVT engines did have a slightly larger cam, which you'll be seeing in a very, very
Sunday.
soon to be seen video.
Sunday.
Yeah, this week's video is going to be on assembling the engine for the VK swapped Talon that we're working on. So we finally got that thing all together. That's kind of been the major holdup for that project. So yeah, happy to say we got that thing together. Fat Bubba, his it seems like every time we go live, he gifts 10 memberships. Thank you very much.
That is awesome.
Um,
Truly appreciate it.
yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. All right.
Jimmy Dale, when's his video coming out? We have no idea.
Yeah.
What we do know is that he was going from Texas to Tennessee, Memphis,
Georgia was in there.
Pennsylvania, back to
Wasn't he in Georgia?
Tennessee, then over to Georgia, and then back to. It's they put us John Madden drawing up of every place that they're going, and we're very fortunate to have made friends with Jimmy Dale. He's a great guy. He's provided some very wise counsel for Calvin to make sure that he recognizes where value can be had on some of the choices that he's now facing trying to do this full time. And it's neat to have somebody so selflessly provide that kind of counsel, because a lot of times people that get as popular as he is are on a high horse, and he has been very selfless in his willingness to share with Calvin, and what a neat person. We truly appreciate him and Poland and what they're doing and the effort that they put in. They are going to be major influencers as time moves on, and we're honored to have them as friends.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool to have somebody who's like kind of in the know on some stuff, just to like ask questions about just anything. It's nice that he's not like really guarded about the information, and yeah. All right, I want to see you guys build the same idea on a Coyote, or at least hear why you didn't build with a flat plane crank. I assume you're talking about the Hot V. The whole point with the Hot V, so with a flat plane crank, you can get the sound that you're after a lot easier, because you can get a 180 header on both sides of the engine and then do a merge pipe and get to the sound that you're after a lot easier with a flat plane. Because with a flat plane, you have 180-degree pulses on both sides of the engines available, and you don't have to do any crisscrossing. The whole point of this exercise was to get the primary lengths right and get all the exhaust ports in the center. There's a lot of compromises with what we did. That, we've talked about many of them already in this podcast. That the intake ports are not designed to have exhaust gases go through them. They're, the valves are too big. The exhaust valves should be smaller than the intake valves. That's a known phenomenon. That's been proven. We don't have to prove that one. But the goal was to get all the ports in the center, and with a flat plane crank, I don't think I would do a Hot V, because you could get the sound you're after without having to do crazy stuff. But with a cross plane, you got to do crazy stuff. So the goal was to do something relatable, like an LS, and get the sound out of it. And I'm really happy with how it came out. I could see doing it maybe with a VK someday, but that'll be a little bit before we get to that one. The Coyotes, still too expensive for me to be interested, but we do have some plans in that neighborhood coming up soon, but you'll have to wait and see. All right, now you need to get the world's fastest four-cylinder, the Ecotec.
Well, we got 2 4-cylinders to do before then.
Yep.
One about, the Atlas. The other we're not going to talk about. And then I want to do an Ecotec or a Quad 4, because I've always appreciated those engines.
Yep. Yeah, I'd love to mess with an Ecotech. The world's fastest Ecotech. That's such a cool, like, in some ways, I'm a huge fan of what that guy's doing. He's like the only dude out there that's doing Ecotechs at that level, and he's beating all the Hondas, so it's super cool. I wish there was more information being shared in that realm. Like, I realize there's a decent amount. Like, if you look at I think it's ZZ Performance. There's a lot of good information from those guys. But I know the guy who has the fastest Ecotech. He has I think it's a full billet head on that thing, and it's still the cast block, which is crazy. Normally you do the billet block before you do the billet head. Yeah, it's wild. But super cool what he's doing. I'm not so sure we would build one at that level. That's a little crazy. But yeah. We appreciate y'all's effort. Gotta maintain it. Be well, you two. Don't burn out. Yeah, we're trying to keep up a reasonable pace. I would like to. I wish I could get videos out more regularly. That's the part I'm struggling with. Because I'm sure you guys want to see them more regularly, but yeah. I would like to see you guys compare an 8 HP versus a 10L80E. I would love to do that as well. But the 10L80 stuff is very, very expensive at the moment. So I think they're starting to get pretty decent controllers out there for them. I haven't done a ton of research on them, but kind of haven't gotten past the cost of them yet. But I mean, frankly, for the amount of money I'm going to have in the 8 HP in my Camaro, I probably could have had a 10L. But yeah. Anyways,
Pulling is great. Absolutely.
Yep.
You know what? He's had a couple videos where he's shared, some of the things, that he's had to deal with in life and the setback that he had with the injuries from the accident. And to recognize that God's grace is there, there's a purpose for his life, and finding a purpose in his life makes him a true inspiration. I draw a lot of energy from people who are positive in spite of the challenges that they have in their life. I find people who are positive to be very inspirational, and he is one of those people I look up to.
Yep. Can I borrow your 3D scanner? I can't stop thinking about that. Dear Santa. Sorry, you cannot. Unfortunately, I have to hang on to the thing.
You're using that thing almost daily anymore.
Yeah. It's not daily, but I use it quite a bit.
It's weekly at least, but
yeah.
What you sent me the other day was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
We got project coming and you're not going to like it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm holding out for more Vortec content, the 4, 5, and 6. Can we hook you guys up with a machine shop in China and make some custom billet cams that are not regrinds, or $100,000 buy-in to start? I'm still not past the reground cam. Like, I feel like a reground cam will do anything you want it to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any point in investing into a billet cam that has to be heat treated and then straightened and then coated, and then there's a dozen parts in the process that come along with a billet cam that don't come along with a regrind. And I think the regrinds, you will out rev. You'll get into an RPM limitation before you run out of the ability to make a camshaft to rev to that level with a regrind. So I would invest in billet crankshafts before I would invest in billet cams.
Yeah, you're going to run out of crankshaft and block.
Yeah.
And rods long before you're going to run out of camshaft with a regrind, because you can get very aggressive on a regrind.
Yep.
There's a lot of material there.
Yep. Are you running the 11.5-to-1 pistons? Yeah, I guess just I'd like to say one more thing on the billet cam thing. I've noticed a few people try to get an effort together to do billet cams. The reason I have not supported it is for what we just said there. I don't think it's necessary, and I think it's kind of wasteful to do a billet cam for the Vortec engines.
You made 1,300 horsepower with reground cams, and they aren't even the big cams that we've got.
No.
They're the little cams, and you're making 1,300 horsepower.
Yep.
And they're regrinds.
Yep, I understand people probably want something that sounds more choppy or more aggressive, but it's just not necessary. Are you running the 11.5-to-1 pistons in any of your 4200 builds? No. We are using 10.5-to-1 pistons. Yeah, in most of our builds. We have a plan for a 14-to-1 build coming up soon, but yeah. How do you think the Vortec 2900 compares to the Ecotec and the K20? I mean, it's going to make more power because it's larger displacement. I don't know. The K series is hard to beat. It's there's a lot of aftermarket support. Pretty much anything you want to make that thing make 1,500 horsepower is out there. But if you're talking about horsepower per pound of boost, I would probably say the 2900, or we would use a 2800 just because we have more 4200 parts. But I think it would definitely do well there. But yeah, it's compared to the Ecotec, I mean, pretty much same.
Big difference with the RPM.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, would it be cheaper to build an Ecotec or would it be cheaper to build a 2900 or a 2800? For us, it would obviously be cheaper to do the 2800 because we have tons of 4200 parts. But I don't know, the Ecotec stuff doesn't seem terribly expensive, but yeah, I mean, the fastest 4-cylinder in the world is an Ecotec, so I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how to answer your question there. Chevette Ecotec swap, that would be cool.
That would be cool. I love Chevettes.
Yep.
And I love the Ecotec, so that would be very, very, very cool.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the 9-speed that's in the Nissan Z is better than the 10LR transmission. If you can get one of those. Okay. I've heard a lot of people say that the 10-speed... I mean, you may be right, but I think a large portion of the aftermarket is getting behind the 10-speed.
Yep.
So my inclination would be to join them rather than going off onto our own little island there. When we doing a diesel build, it's going to be a little while.
It's going to be a while. I look forward to it, but right now we've got to build our base to the point where we can take a detour, because when we go into the diesel world, it's going to require a lot of background effort to make that videoable. There's a word for you.
Yeah.
Spell that 3 times twice.
All right.
The regrinds are cool. Are they good to 8,000, 8,500? They have gone to what, 8,200?
What did he ask?
About the regrinds and 8,000 RPMs.
I mean, they're peaking around like 77 ish, but we've revved them to 82. It's not like they fall off a cliff. And like if we do more aggressive regrinds, we're going to get to that 8,000 to 8,500 mark. So, like,
I'm still convinced we need to explore the solid lifter or solid lash adjusters again.
yeah, and I've heard mixed opinions on that because like some people are like, oh well, the Ecotech guys spin them to 9,700 with stock lash adjusters, and the Coyote guys do the same thing, and so I'm like, I don't know who to believe, but then like you talk to the guys at Schneider, and they say, oh well, the Ecotech guys they start to have issues with the lash adjusters at 7,800 RPM or whatever. And we've done it. We've done, the solid lifters, but I don't know if we were in the RPM range where we actually needed them. And
I don't think so, but I think when we start doing the 8,500 stuff, we probably will be.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, until we do it, if we put a more aggressive cam in it and it doesn't want to RPM, then that's going to tell us. But I don't know. We need to come up with a more economical way to do solid lash adjusters because the current solutions are way too expensive and an absolute pain in the neck to set up.
So right there, the individual that brought up the comment about spending $100,000 on camshafts.
Yeah.
If he could come up with a product that is easy to adjust the lash on,
They're out there.
but they're
$1 billion.
so expensive.
Yeah, they're
if he could come up with an
ridiculous.
economical solution.
And what I want to do is take this factory lash adjuster and just stack washers in it. But that's still going to be a pain in the neck. Like, back in the day, Jessel made a really cool thing where it was literally like a little, it was like setting up like a flathead where it was like an interference fit nut. And you just turn the lash adjuster with a specialized wrench, and you'd set your lash, and you'd set the height on this lash adjuster, and it was tight enough that it wouldn't move. And I think the flatheads are the same way, where they have like a interference fit screw on the lifter, and that's how you set up the lash on the flathead. But yeah, same idea. If it was that easy, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be so much better. Because
we could probably gain 500 RPMs just with that.
With our current cams, I don't agree. But with the, cams we're working on, maybe. I want to run them at the dyno and, with hydraulic lash adjusters and find out.
Yep.
Because, yeah, we've tried it with the Schneider cams and didn't seem to matter. So
no, we've ran into other shortcomings at the same time.
Yeah, I mean we're revving out to over 8,000 RPM, and it's not like the power's nosediving.
Yeah.
And
so have we been on the podcast since you went 168 miles an hour in the Camaro? Or is that new information for everybody?
I don't know.
All right, so I'm going to brag on you. He went 168 miles an hour, and his tops from the 8th mile to the quarter mile was 2.90 seconds, which is good enough to get in the 7s. So the focus on getting that car to work in the first 660, as well as it's working in the second 660, is going to be something that has to happen. And, there's going to be a lot of work to make that happen. You're going to rebuild it, or you're going to put in a new tranny. You're going to go through a complete engine, and you recently found a set of rear gears to be able to put some legs onto that thing. So,
Yeah.
he's going to go from a 373 to a 323.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody left a comment, and they told me where I can get some 323s. I hope they actually fit, because that's a concern. The place I bought them from said they'll fit, but until I actually have them in the case and I, have it all put together, I'm not going to believe it. So at this point, I'm out the money, but we'll see.
Yep. But thank you for sharing that information with us. We get a lot out of these podcasts and live streams and that kind of thing when you guys share information. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame about Maple Grove, absolutely. And that's going to be interesting how they navigate the next few years with some of the purchase agreements that are in place and all that. But the announcement today was different from the announcement that we saw coming out of the weekend, where they're closing. The focus on drifting and no prep and those kind of things are certainly, we appreciate all forms of racing. We appreciate the fact that people are not sitting on the couch, but being that that's one of the jewels in the history of drag racing, and especially for NHRA, it's going to be a shame that if that turns into another one of those Copart, Englishtown type facilities.
Yeah. Well, I was happy to see at this past weekend's race, they had Streetcar Takeover there, and they did a backside race. I was happy to see.
Yep.
Like, I don't like the backside stuff. Not my thing. But it's cool. Like,
It brings a lot of cash in.
Right, well, that, but also, like, I'm amazed they were able to pull that off, and I'm happy that they were, because it's, I don't think that ever would have happened in the past couple of years. Like, I guess they did
it the last 2 years.
Oh, really? Backside.
Yeah. And they do it on New Year's.
Yeah, but that's from the front.
They've done them from the back, too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wasn't aware of it, and I think it's great that they're finding new ways to bring in more interest, because there was a lot of people in that starting line from the videos that I saw, and I think that's awesome that they're finding new ways to finding new ways to bring people in. Well, the revenue's great, but bringing new people in, if the people aren't there, it dies.
Yep.
And, you gotta adapt, so.
How's Beaver Springs? We hope to be there on Saturday. It's, we miss seeing Mike and Mikey, and we're hoping to get there this weekend.
Yep. Metal 3D printer when? Not sure. We're going to find a project to do that with, so, but not sure when.
We need somebody to sponsor that, I would think.
They're starting to become more affordable. So.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, not to buy the machine, like to have somebody print the metal.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm not buying a machine. That's $1 million machine. Like, yeah, that's
We'll take that sponsor too.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah. All in all, an engine, you don't have to adjust lash adjusters or solid lifters every time you use it would be ideal. I suppose a billet crank destroker would eliminate this problem, but add more. Yeah, I would much rather do a destroke crankshaft than I would billet cams.
Yep.
And you'd have a lot more in the billet crank, but I wouldn't waste my money on a set of billet cams.
Yep.
And I'm right there with you. I don't want to mess with lash adjusters. I just want to race the car. In some ways, you get to a certain point where it probably makes sense to have a set of solid lash adjusters, just because it helps you to identify problems. Because once you have the solid lash adjuster set, you should never have to touch it. And if you do, there's a problem. With a hydraulic lash adjuster, you'll never see the problem because it'll just adjust the lash and not make noise. Whereas with a solid lash adjuster, if you start losing a valve, you start tuliping a valve, or you start to, a seat starts to rattle out of the head, or, that kind of thing, you can actually diagnose that issue before bad things happen. So I hear you on not wanting to have to constantly mess with your engine, but if you get to a certain point or a certain level in racing, like, you probably should be looking at that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know if I want to go to that level, but I want to go to that level, but I don't know if I want to go to that level with the 4200. All right. You rock. I love you guys. Keep it up. Your passion is contagious. We need that. Well, I'm happy that we're able to inspire people. And yeah, there's a lot of people that inspire us, and we're happy to share or spread the inspiration. Check out this guy to make the LT heads with valves on correct position. Did he send another message?
I did not see who he was referring to.
Okay.
Busted Radio Garage. Hello. Should be seeing them in 5 weeks in Sykeston?
Yep. I'm curious, but after rewatching all your videos over and over, it seems that the 4200 performs best with the 80mm turbo as far as back pressure. Is this true, or a limitation of the current regrinds?
I was thinking the 82mm was the best.
Cams don't really have anything to do with that. At least we've never run a different set of cams to see if.
Yeah.
So we've been pretty much running the same cams in every engine we've done, and we've only now started to look for more. But the 80mm,
I thought the 82 performed the best, or is it 83?
It's an 82mm turbine, and the turbine's the big limiter. We've seen compressors hate life as well, and they're definitely interrelated. You want like the biggest compressor you can get, pretty much. Not the biggest, but you want. Yeah, an 80, 83, somewhere in that range on compressor, but the turbine has been the tricky part, because it needs an 88. At 1,000 wheel horsepower, the 82 is barely able to support that. It's getting into a flow limitation with that. We were seeing lots of back pressure with that to get the 1,000 wheel horsepower. So it needs an 88, but the problem with the 88 is it takes forever for it to spool. And I realize a lot of you are going to say, why don't you just put nitrous on it or something like that? And I know it's definitely an option, but I don't know. I'm just very resistant to that because I don't want to have to be filling bottles. The whole point of doing that straight gate that we have on the car is to not have to fill bottles. And, CO2 is one thing to have to find. Nitrous is a little more specialized. So, at some point we're going to do some nitrous stuff. But
absolutely,
I just don't feel like putting it on that car. So, yeah. I'm not sure if I answered his question or not, but...
yeah. Eventually you'll see that. But, the initial question was the 80mm turbo.
Mm-hmm.
It's working good on the compressor side, but not as good on the exhaust side.
Yep. Convert an L83 to diesel, similar to how...
Nope.
one who converted a VR6 to diesel, if successful, run only 4 cylinders. Run 4 cylinders on diesel and the other 4 on gas. Only running 4 cylinders at a time, whichever fuel you want, you will drive. Okay, that's a interesting solution, but I would rather duplicate that guy's build with the 15-to-1 compression and just do that with gasoline because that's really cool. I don't know if diesel would really you'd have to increase the compression ratio a lot. You already have direct injection on board, so that would work well with the diesel, I would assume, but you would have to increase the compression ratio a lot. It probably could be done, but
it can be done.
Yeah, I don't know what the benefit of it would be.
Well, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I'd rather start with a diesel engine. I want to build.
Yeah, but what's more relatable?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the problem with diesels is they're so dang heavy.
Yeah.
But will you get an adequate cylinder head sealing with that?
Will you have enough block integrity? Because it makes all the cylinder pressure at low speed.
Right.
I don't want to live in that world. That's why I'd rather have a heavy block.
It's an interesting experiment, though. You could do it. It could work. I don't know. I'm gonna keep that one in the back of my head for a little while.
I want to see what lighter weight diesels are out there that we can turn RPMs.
Well, there's an OM606. That would be the answer to that.
Yeah, that would be a cool project.
Yeah, but what if you got what if you got an LAT? Would that have enough beef?
Yeah.
Okay. I should just let this one lie. Okay, awkward performance. All right, so that's the guy he was saying. All right, I'll have to look him up.
Bringing the V to Sykeston.
Maybe, I don't know. We have one car we're definitely bringing, and we're not going to tell you about it. So, just you'll have to wait and see that one.
Yeah, we gotta let the haters hate.
Yeah, that one's going to be. It's either going to be received really well or really, really poorly, and I'm excited to see it either way. So, but as far as if we bring 2 cars, and what that second car is going to be, I'm not sure yet. Kelly Cofield could cast those heads. Okay. I'll have to look him up as well. It needs pops and bangs. Yes, it does. I wish that it shot fireballs because that would be cool. So, I have some ideas on how we could accomplish that, but it's going to be a little bit.
We gotta get through LS first and not have it blown up first.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not going to be the current. That's going to be a couple iterations down the road. I'd rather you try something cool and do a torque amp electric supercharger or turbo in a compound setup instead of nitrous. They would even send you one to try this. They've done it for other YouTubers. 48 volt instant spool. It's an interesting idea. I'd be curious. Now they charge through the regular charging system of the vehicle, I think, because I remember way back when Cletus did his. And I don't think they're all that heavy either.
Does it work through check valves and parallel, or is it something hooked in series?
Well, you can hook it up any way you want.
Yeah, but flow limitation becomes part of the equation.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put it in series because you're going to exactly what you just said. I would want to put it in parallel and just be like, hey, spool, idiot. Hey, dummy.
Today, now.
Yeah, now. But I'm also right now, I'm like in massive like weight savings mode with my Camaro. Like I'm going to dumb lengths to try and get the weight out of the car. So like it's an interesting idea, but I'd be curious how much it would weigh. Blowers, they're cool. I would love to, this is gonna sound dumb, but I did have a stupid thought of putting a blower on the red car because I'm so sick of it not spooling. But I feel like it's gonna snap the crank snout off.
Well, until we do that, that's at some point we got to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if there's some way to make a larger snout, heat it up, press it onto the front of the crank, and get it back to the crank itself. And
you mean like an extended length?
Yeah, to get the bigger diameter.
Oh.
And let that sit against the front of the main journal.
Hmm.
But
no, because your crank, your sprocket is there,
right,
and your oil pump drive,
which you're not going to have
right,
with the dry.
But you still need the sprocket to run the cam.
Right. But just thinking through what is a potential solution to make that happen. But at the same time, that crankshaft metallurgy is so good. Are we analysis paralysis and not moving forward on something that potentially could be done?
Yeah, I mean, we got a ProCharger F1X sitting in my basement, and the temptation has definitely been there. But the problem with an F1X is I think it's too big. So it's
1,400 horse.
Right. But they recommend it for a car. Yeah, I know. I recommend it for a car that makes, I think it's 500 horsepower is what they recommend the base engine should make. And I don't think that thing's making 500 horsepower.
No, but we're probably close to 400.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should just try it.
I think we should. But, yeah, we need to talk about what that makes sense on. Do we stick that in the Monza? Because then we got the length, and the car was built for a supercharger. I built that car so that we could put a centrifugal supercharger on the left side of the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have to stew on that. I mean, with that, I assume you would want to land speed race that.
We'll do whatever.
Yeah.
But
the only reason to run a ProCharger is if you're going to drag race it. Is my point. Because
guys land speed them.
Yeah, but that's dumb. Just run a turbo. They're way better. You don't need it to spool. I think, I don't know. I don't agree with people running a ProCharger in land speed racing. It's just like, you're just making the engine hate itself.
No. You aren't allowed to run turbos in classic classes.
Okay. Well, that's its own...
That's right.
That's its own thing.
But then you can run an older car.
Sure.
With the older technology, because nobody wants to acknowledge the fact that turbos have been around since the 30s. Gassers in the 60s had turbos, but there is this polarizing phobia about including reality into rule sets.
Yeah, it's because they're dumb. It's fine.
It's
not because they're not dumb. They're just...
They're phobic.
Well, and I don't think it's phobic. I think they're just stubborn. I don't think they're whatever you want. I don't think they're scared of it. They're just stubborn.
Yeah, they are. They don't want to get run over.
Okay. All right. That I can agree with. Sure.
Yeah. I'll put our turbos up against anybody's blower.
Oh yeah, our turbos will run circles around them. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The problem is it doesn't spool. I'm trying to build a drag car. Alright, do it like the OEM did. Audi did electric turbo on a diesel. And this YouTuber uses Vortec Chinese turbo superchargers and made his own electric. He had success. You should look him up, Alex TD or something like that. I'll have to look him up. Yeah, the torque. I don't know. The torque amp stuff is just. I feel like more people would be using it if it was really that easy, and maybe it's. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. Maybe they've come a little longer way than I realize, but I'm late, but the slow lag on the turbos is the small intake valves, 100%. Yeah, you put the turbos on it to composite the small valves, but the air volume is very reduced. Yeah, I agree. It's yeah, you're probably right. How much anti-lag PSI at idle would be a good question. Well, anti-lag, as far as I understand, is meant for when you're coming into the corner and you already have a bunch of boost and you use the anti-lag to keep the turbo lit. With drag racing, unfortunately, we're not coming into the starting line with a bunch of boost. So, yeah, unfortunately, the anti-lag wouldn't really work for our drag racing application.
Yep.
We know how much you love 57 Chevys. Would a Cummins be a good swap? Not in my 57. I think it would be cool if you did it in your 57, but not in mine. We could do I could see us doing a Cummins someday, maybe. I don't know. But not my 57. Sorry, man. SCCA has a turbo class. Okay. Every engine should be turboed. Agreed. Also,
I like superchargers.
Yeah, I like them too, but
Okay.
they have some challenges. Also, didn't fuel injectors get involved in 1902?
I'm not sure how to answer that. Electronic fuel injection, no.
Yeah.
Fuel injection, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanical fuel injection has been around since the second engine was produced. But electronic fuel injection did not become a reality until I'm going in the mental Wayback Machine. I think it was mid 70s when you started seeing the electronic fuel injection stuff. There was a Bosch system on. What the heck car was that? There's something out of Germany.
I don't know.
Oh.
You're talking about a 1902?
No. 1902 was mechanical.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about electronic fuel injection. There was stuff in the 70s.
Check out Rocket Anti-Lag in Rally. Used for launches. Yeah, the cool thing about a rally car is you can push in the clutch and you can rev the engine to any RPM that you want. If I could do that on my 6-cylinder, I'd have zero issues with building boost. I could rev that thing to 7,000 RPM and make all kinds of fireballs. The problem is I'm trying to fight a torque converter that I need to couple when it's making 1,200 horsepower, but I need it to be loose enough that I can get some boost into it down low. So it's, we've done converter dumps in the past, I've never been able to get a converter dump to do anything reasonable. Like it's like half a second to spool time. Like it's literally like the time it takes to get to the two step is reduced by half a second when we've done converter dumps in the past. And I don't I don't know what to say there.
Yeah, we just don't have enough engine. We need to throw methanol or nitrous at it.
Right.
Yeah, pick your poison, but we need some way to build torque at low speed.
Which, yeah, we're probably going to pursue methanol, but even though I don't like that solution either. I think it's the same as the VK56 and 4200. Sometimes things just don't get popular until they do. Application specific, I suppose. Dodge is trying it now on their twin turbo inline 6 engines.
Yeah.
They're doing a electronic supercharger on their Hurricanes. I had not heard about that. Yeah, I mean, I hear you on it not being popular until it's popular. But yeah, and with the big exhaust valves, it's not like punching the wheel, more like turning a merry-go-round. Yeah, on a playground. Yeah, so I think we're kind of bouncing between subjects. We're kind of like, I think this guy is specifically referring to the Hot V. I'm also talking about like the 4200, how we're having issues with spooling that as well.
Yeah. How much boost can a Ford 170 inline take? Let's find out. I'm telling you what I'd like to do. I want to take a Ford 250 head and bolt it to a Ford 200 block. Mm-hmm. But I want to see what crank we can put in it to get it under 183 cubic inches. Because I think that would be a great combination for a little turbo inline 6.
Why that specifically?
Gets it under 183. The
right.
200, the 250 head has bigger valves, bigger intake runners. Nothing sucks worse than having to grind the ports on a cast iron head. Mm-hmm. So if you put a 250 head onto a 200, you've already eliminated a ton of the work that you would need to have to get the air and fuel in.
All right, so you do that, and I'll do my Chevy inline 6, and we'll race each other.
All right, the 1958 Chrysler 300D had a Bendix electro injector, according to Cameron, and the 67 VW had a Bosch D Jetronic. Yeah, and that's the one I was thinking of, was the VW, but I thought that was 70 something when that came out. 58. That's a surprise. Oops, I just X'd myself out. There we go. Oh, and somebody else just put that Dark Blaze 176. So I got Cameron's message at the same time that got posted. Sorry, guys.
Yep. How much power would you expect from a all-motor stock crank 4200?
Depends upon the RPM and the compression.
Depends on the camshaft compression ratio, and I mean, if you're talking about a factory one, Richard Holdner has done that. They make around 320 crankshaft horsepower. Based on back calculating our combos to naturally aspirated, I think my Camaro was around I think it was 350 at the wheels. I think it was around 350 at the wheels.
We haven't done anything that's really
most of
right
low compression. Yeah, I mean, we haven't done anything that's.
You're going to see us do ones at some point in the near future.
And if we can break 400 wheel horsepower with that, like that's going to be getting some stuff done. So at least that's my opinion. Like I feel like that would be like really doing something with that. So
Well, the 14-to-1 engine. The 14-to-1 engine. Let me do some quick math on that. You talk while I do math.
Okay. In 1950, okay, you already read that one. Dodge was testing it at the latest Roadkill Nights event last week. Okay, I'll have to see if I can find that.
Yeah, I bet we could probably get around 370 to 380 tire
With the 14-to-1.
with the 14-to-1.
Okay. I hope it's more than that.
No, that's gonna be low mid 400s.
Well, is that with an automatic or is that with a stick?
Well, and that's all stuff we got to talk about.
Mhm.
With an automatic, it's going to be less, obviously.
Oh, so you think that's with the stick?
No, I think that's with an automatic.
Oh, yeah, I would think 400. Shoot for like 400.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Yep.
Is the BTR Stage 3 Turbo Cam too much cam? T56 60 LFA with ported LS3 heads and intake G42 1200. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what the specs on that are. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid of it. The G42 1200, I'm not sure how big that is. That sounds on the smaller side. You may run into, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with cams on the LS combos, especially being a stick shift. You can really do a lot there. Assuming it's a drag racing application, you can set your two-step to wherever you want to, however much power you want to make, and if you can get it to slip just right, you can make whatever power band you want work. The problem when you install a bigger cam, you move the power band higher in the RPM range, and with a stick shift, you can work with that.
You can get there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of that cam. Dodge was desperate to try and turbo supercharge the Slant 6 back in the day too.
Yep.
Huh. Turbo supercharge. So super turbo.
Once I ported a pair of iron V6 heads with a Dremel. Never again. Michael, I understand.
Yes, the next comment, that poor Dremel.
That had to take forever.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. But you know what? Back in the day, that was when we did all our own porting.
Mm-hmm.
I spent weeks porting a set of heads. Weeks. That's what you did back in the day.
Yeah, so I brought up the latest podcast that we put out, and I wondered if we should answer some of the questions from there.
Yeah.
So somebody commented on the 5-cylinder timing chain guide failure, and they said you should put a pressure sensor on the suction side of the oil pump as well. And that's not a horrible idea. It would be a little hard to hook that up, but that would definitely tell you if you're having an issue.
Or buy better parts.
Yeah, I mean, for that, yeah, just buy better parts and move on with your life. All right.
Not to poo-poo on the guy's idea, but
Yes. I mean, no,
Right.
it's a good idea.
Yeah. Just make what you got work.
But, yeah.
Less wires.
Mm-hmm.
More power.
Yeah. Somebody says a W8 or a W12 from a VW or Audi would be cool to see you guys put your touch on it. Yeah, that would be very cool. Those engines are so weird.
Was that the thing like the block is like it's a V engine
But there's
and one head.
no, that's the VR6.
Okay.
Yeah, but the W12 is like if you took a VR6 and then you put two of them.
Oh yeah. I've seen those.
Yeah, so it's like the cylinders are going like this.
I bet those things are unobtainium for
Yeah.
money.
Oh yeah, yeah. They make the V, basically the W8, so it would be like, yeah, two banks of four doing this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd sooner mess with a VR6 to get our feet wet with that. But I don't know. There's some guys that are making some really good power with them.
I'm sure they are. Everybody throws a lot of energy at stuff. Eventually, you get them figured out.
Yep. Somebody said, "Can we get these on Apple Podcasts or Spotify?" I'll have to look into that. Can you 3D print a replacement from a superior material? I assume they're talking about the timing chain guides. I would be worried about 3D printing being able to hold up just because it's kind of it's just layer separation is a big issue with a 3D print. Even if you did like the resin style printers, I'd be worried about it failing because of that, not because of the material. And then they go on. They said we could sell them. Yeah, I think I pretty much answered that one. I'm starting to think the Atlas 4-cylinder and its AR5 5-speed might be a good candidate for a Ranger. Off the cuff, the height would be the worst dimension.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
On a Ranger, I feel like they should have tons of room.
They're still short, and the Atlas is still tall.
Yeah. It would be cool though. I like the idea.
Yeah, we did that V8 Ranger years ago. That was a fun little project. And
when did you do a Ranger?
We were here, and that would have been 2004-ish.
What color was it?
Light blue.
Was it yours? Or was it somebody else's?
Rob's.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yep, I used the Jeep mounts and 267, and man, did it do good burnouts. Yeah, that was a neat truck.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess at some point in the video we talked about linking two engines, and somebody said they've seen somebody do it with a rubber drive shaft coupling. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying during the podcast. I feel like you would need some sort of isolator to keep the engines from doing dumb stuff. In the next podcast, you guys talk through more on the new camshaft details, the new 4200 camshaft details. He said that he sees that Schneider does a 280 option now. Will we need cores like regrinds for your new cams? Yeah, you'll need cores, but I mean, I don't even. I would like to get my hands on some of those the Schneider 280s.
You know, part of the problem with any of that stuff, and it's going to be whether it's an aftermarket cam or a reground cam. Who's taken the time to develop the lash adjuster package? You know, and that's a nice thing about the current setup that is available.
Right.
You know, because you can go to your store and order a lash adjuster kit for their.
I get asked all the time from people, well, do you offer the cam package for their lower spec grinds? And recently I've got a few people asking, well, what about the higher specs, like the 280 that he mentioned? Like, you know, unfortunately I haven't gotten my hands on them yet. I haven't even figured out how we're going to do that on the cams that we're working on right now. So, yeah, that's definitely an issue. Is like, how do you solve the lash adjuster?
Well, I'm hoping we get that 1401 engine done, get the lash adjuster issue
Yep.
resolved with that. And, hey, hi, Alan. Yes, if you don't love this country, get out of it. There's plenty of other countries in the world.
Yeah.
This is the greatest country. If you don't agree, move out. Sorry, didn't mean to go political on you.
Yeah. Have you watched any of Couch Built? He does a lot with 3D scanners, 3D metal printing, using CAN bus to use electric motors on BMW i8 and much more. I have not seen him, so I don't like when people quantitate performance by boost numbers. Boost is a restriction. Anything you can do to remove the restriction should make more power. That goes along with the turbo cams. If you have too much overlap I assume he means or duration. I can see that hurting power on a supercharged motor. It may spool the turbos better. Hard to say. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, boost is it's a point of comparison for a lot of people. So it's I mean, I hear you on boost being just a restriction. Like, if you can make 1,200 horsepower on 14 pounds of boost, like, that's a pretty healthy engine. But I don't know. Boost is like, I don't know. I think people, the reason why, like, why do so many people say, well, how much boost were you running? You know, it's because you hear that all the time.
Yeah. It's the only point of reference
Right.
that a lot of people have.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, some
No,
people are like,
just-
It
just makes it easy to,
right. Yeah.
formulate a thought in your head.
Yeah. It's like saying, what'd the car run? How much boost did it make? Like, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Like,
Yeah.
some people like to get all on their high horse and be like, me. It's, I don't know. Technically, boost is a bit, like, I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, I get it. Oh,
People are
look at the
having-
VVT engine.
Yeah.
We made same power with 8
Yep.
less pounds of boost.
Yeah. It's like,
That screams
Yeah.
a lot. That means that the engine underneath is more efficient.
Yep.
Same bat channel, same bat timing, same bat turbo.
Apparently, Mr. Sam, as somebody says, I think Mr. Sam watched your video because he's using a VK motor and a 3D scanner to make valve covers.
Cool.
Well, I would be honored if he
Yeah.
watched our videos. He's a cool dude.
That's a cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
We met him twice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, unfortunately, did you ever get to talk to him?
Oh, I got to talk to him at Six Summer
I wanted to
at
talk to him.
Byron.
Okay.
And
What was he like?
That's a good person there. That's he took the time to talk to a lot of people in spite of the amount of pressure that he was under to one, be part of another person's event. But he, his smile was genuine. The way that he allowed people to connect with him
Mhm.
was very genuine. You could tell that it was not forced.
Yeah.
And I appreciate people that can do that, because some people fake a smile and, pretend that they appreciate you. You could see it in his eyes and in his gestures that he was genuine.
Yeah. And I've noticed that from afar, but I've never actually gone up and talked to him. I've wanted to, but it's like, just busy doing stuff and never, had the opportunity. So that's...
Yeah, and that's kind of like Jimmy Dow.
Mhm.
There's just people that are just naturally just
They're just good
magnets for being just, they're just good people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So I Bounce
Mr.
back-
Sam is America's grandpa. I love that. Yeah.
So bouncing back to the live comments.
Okay.
Would you ever mess with a Ford Duratec V6? I'm not really sure. Is that the engine that the Blue Turd is running? Because I feel like he's pretty much done everything there is to do with that. I would sooner mess with like a what's the Gen 5 V6 LC? Nope. L whatever that one is. You know, the 4.3, the modern 4.3, whatever that
I
is.
thought that was an LL engine.
No. I forget what the number. I'd sooner mess with one of them before I would mess with the Duratec. One more cool idea for a video would be to weigh the 4, 5, and 6 engines fully dressed and see how they stack up versus other engines such as the VK and the LS. I don't know if that would be a full video. We probably should have done that on our 4, 5, 6 video that we already have out there. But yeah, I can say like a 5-cylinder is only like, I think it's like 13 pounds lighter than a 4200 just because of all the balance shaft junk. So yeah, it might be a little disappointing to some people to find out how little the actual weight reduction is. So
But all you gotta do is weigh a block and a crank because the cylinder head.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's, you know, the 42, you know, the Vortec engines. I think all people would also be a little disappointed to find out that they, you know, they're lighter than a 2J, but
a lot.
You know, compared to like a VK or an LS.
Nope.
Nope.
Right in line.
You're gonna be about the same weight.
Yep.
So yeah.
But I think it would be neat to mess with a Duratec V6 at some point.
Okay. What is?
It's just different.
Okay.
I think people appreciate the fact that we do different
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but what makes it? What's? Yeah, I mean, do you know anything about them?
No,
Or,
it's
okay.
just they're modern.
Yeah.
Guys are getting good power out of them. You see some guys out there that are getting, 700-800 horsepower out of them.
Yeah, that must be the Blue Turd guy.
Don't know.
Yeah, because he's gotten.
I don't know any Blue Turd guys.
Okay,
that sounds like a big Smurf.
Okay, you've seen his car. It was a PRI a couple of years. He ran into like a limitation on like, I think the crankshaft flew apart. I think it's the Duratec. I'm gonna look it up. Duratec, is that what came in the Taurus?
Thinking of crankshafts blowing apart, going back to the blower on the 4200. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's any literature that ProCharger might have put out on, minimum requirements for a crankshaft. Because they might say, if your snout's not, 1.25 inches, don't even try.
And there's other solutions to the problem as well. You could always make a bearing that goes on the front to help support it, like the Coyote guys do.
Yeah, but they're trying to make how much power?
Like 1400.
Okay. And their crankshaft design has such a sharp angle, I don't know how it's not a problem.
I mean, they snap them off pretty normally.
It looks like a very poor design for driving a supercharger.
Mm-hmm.
Is a 4200 the same way?
Are you talking about how it has the cut in the...
And how sharp that cut is?
I don't know. I would have to look at one. I don't remember. Nope, there's no snap on that one. Never mind.
Yeah, that's
I was gonna say we have one right there, but okay, the Duratec is 97 to 2007. Okay, so that
now wait a minute. Think about how funny this is. You're pointing at a crankshaft and you point it up.
Mm-hmm.
They can't see what's above.
Yeah, they can't see it.
But they're probably thinking, What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, we just have one hanging from the ceiling.
It's
like
the
a-
wrong end of the
Yeah,
crankshaft.
it's like an Acme. We just have like traps hanging from the ceiling so that in case there's intruders, we can just hit a thing and it'll go boonk, hit them on the head.
Puts new meaning to coyote.
Yeah. All right. So a Duratec is a 90,
LV3.
Thank you. 96 to 2007 Ford V6. I don't know. That does sound kind of interesting.
Why would you reverse flow a 3.8 front wheel drive engine?
I mean, you could get it to sound like an inline six with a 6-into-1. I don't know. All right.
Oh,
Thoughts?
the blue turd has a Yamaha
That's
DOHC V6, where
Got
the Duratec is
newer.
okay. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thoughts on the Barra? I think they're a really good engine. I wish that we got them here. I have no interest in doing one just because it's hard to get parts and they're expensive. I don't like how they did the oil pan on them, where it has a cross bolt going into the main. I'd rather have a dedicated like main girdle like the 4200 has. But I mean, guys are making crazy horsepower with them, and they sound cool, they look cool, they do lots of cool things.
3100 or 3400 even. I would love to do one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, finding one of the dual overhead cam ones would be really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
The Duratec was helped made by Yamaha. Okay. Vortex 1600 industrial engine. I don't even know what that is. I would have to look that one up. A lot of people are saying they would love to see an OM606. Fair. Hey, somebody left a $5 donation. Thank you to Mr. Forestang.
Yep.
Is that like a Subaru reference there? I'm sure it's no diamond in the rough, but could you see anything cool being done with a Ford V10 Triton?
We've actually been talking about that.
I was looking for one of them on Facebook the other day on Marketplace because I was like, I wonder if we should try and do something cool with one of them.
Yep. We actually like those better than the Viper.
Yeah, junk. I hate those things. They're not junk. They're odd fire, and I don't like that. They don't. I just don't like the way they sound, and it's not that like, because a friend of mine, he always makes fun of me. He sends me Dodge Viper like sound compilations just to annoy me because he knows how much I hate them. So he'll just send these to me and be like, yeah, see, they don't sound that bad. And I'm like, so, it's just, it's not even that they sound that bad. It's that they could sound so much better. It's like, you were that close, but like, so close.
Yep.
But yeah, doing the Ford V10, they're even fire. So I would be very interested.
I would love to build one of those. I think that there's some opportunity there.
Yeah, and I love what the Build It Yourself guys did with theirs, where they adapted or basically made custom cylinder heads to make it into a 4-valve engine. But I feel like I don't know why the Triton stuff hasn't. Like, why is nobody doing high horsepower Triton stuff?
I don't know, but there's nothing that says it can't work.
Yeah,
unless there's not parts to support it.
Because
like good camshafts.
You've always says that, you've said in the past that you think a 3-valve would be the way to go.
Yes.
And
yep.
All right, 10 into 1, 10 into 1 V10 coming soon. um, so that external oil pump mod you did to run at half speed, do you still need that if you do a dry sump? You might be confusing. They might be one and the same. Like that is a dry sump setup. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that was a dry sump setup. So, but yes, you would still want to do that with the dry sump. Basically, you're going to figure out what the pump manufacturer recommends for the maximum speed on the pump, and then you're going to figure out what pulley ratio you need to put on the combination to figure out where your red line on the engine is going to be to meet that maximum recommended pump speed. That's basically how I did it.
Yeah. Viper sounds like a tractor. I agree.
Yeah.
They sound horrible.
I mean, some of them sound all right, but it's the ones that are making like 4,500 horsepower. Like,
okay.
Like, those sound cool. But, like, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Can be built to hand. Okay, the V10 Triton can be built to make a lot of power. There's no doubt. What is it? 368 cubic inches? If you can't make power with that many cubic inches.
Are they that small?
Yeah, that's one of the neat things about
6'8". That's right.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it would be bigger than that. You said 3. Yeah, it'd be
I thought
bigger.
it's a 368. Somebody can look that up, but I'm going off memory. Oh, you're looking it up.
For Ford V10 Triton. Also, if I know how to spell. 413. 6'8". 415. Manual say 413. So 413.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
What am I thinking of? A V10 that's 368.
Maybe like an Audi?
I don't know. Google is our friend.
The SVT Contour had the Duratec V6, which is helped made by Yamaha. Okay, cool. It's basically the modern Ford 460. There you go. Yeah, except it has 2 extra cylinders, right? Because the 460 was a V8, right?
Yes, but yeah, I'm not sure about that.
So the manifold you have on the 3500 makes it sound more even fire. Well, it's an even fire engine, so that's why it sounds even fire. But I didn't mean that to sound condescending, so I'm sorry. You might be referring to the way that it does sequential fire into the manifold, and it would definitely make it sound better when you do that. We've proven that.
Okay, so I'm completely upside down.
Okay, apparently somebody's saying that Yamaha was not involved in the Duratec. You lied to me.
There's no such thing as a 358 cubic inch.
I bet you said 360.
Or 360, yeah, that's right.
Tritons have inherent built-in flaws that need correcting. And that can be expensive. I mean, what is it? Just the spark plug issue? Like, is that do they have more issues than the spark plugs? The 5.4 Triton shares the architecture of the 4.6 modular. Yep.
Okay, BMW. No? Yes. No.
Hey, Calvin, are you going to try a different Hot V LSLT? The reason I ask is the current setup is going to melt the intake valves up. Could have done it with an LS head and LT cam.
Nope.
I mean, you're not solving anything by doing that. We do plan to do more with the Hot V LT or LS, whatever you want to call it. So far, we're not seeing any issues with the intake valve melting, but by going to an LS head and the LT swap cam, you're not solving anything there. You're still flowing the exhaust through the intake valve. I saw a bunch of people make that comment of like, well, what if you just used LS heads with the LT swap cam? Would that solve your issue? No, you're still flowing the exhaust gas out the intake port. So, no, that would not solve that problem, unfortunately.
I thought the solution was the simplest, and that's what's being used.
Yeah, I mean, it's working.
We
just
got
fine.
junk heads on a junk short block,
So far, it's
and
fine.
it's making stupid power.
Yeah, it's making pretty insane.
We haven't
power.
told anybody what the power
Yeah,
is.
I guess
so
we-
you're going to wait for the video to come out, and what is that? 2 weeks from now?
I mean, we never did actually go into like what we did this past weekend. So this past weekend, we took the car to Streetcar Takeover at Maple Grove,
Great event.
and that was a really, really fun time. If you guys saw on the 1320 video Facebook page, you will have seen that they may have spoiled the times that we ran, which for you guys, I'll spoil it. So first pass, I ran it to the 8th and let off, and it went 114 miles per hour to the 8th.
In the 8th, think about that.
Yeah.
That's like a 930
Mm-hmm.
in the quarter mile performance level.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I let off. It went an 11:14.
Yeah.
And then
Coasting
yes,
for the whole top 660.
yep. And for the second pass, it was making a little more boost than what I wanted.
Yeah, you turned it down 10%.
And I tried to turn it down, but it made the same boost. And there's some other. I mean, the fuel pump was a problem.
Yeah.
Which we had some issues with the fuel pumps on the dyno, and we had to change some stuff there, which now we have a fuel pump set up on the car that unfortunately is not enough for the amount of power that it was making. So the fuel pressure at the track, yeah. So the fuel pressure was diving. The AFRs were still pretty good. I mean, they were fine. So it's not like it was melting down the engine or anything, but the second pass it went at 10:58, and I was hoping that it would go straight into the 9s, but what I didn't take into account was that the gear in the car was not going to support that. So it has a 391 gear in the back, and it hit the rev limiter at 138 miles per hour, and then it just sat there for like the whole second half of the track. Not quite. I mean, basically like maybe like 700-800 feet out, it just hit the rev limiter and sat there. So I think if I would have gotten that little bit of extra speed out the back door, it could have gone right into the 9s, but that didn't happen. So when at 10:58 at 138 miles per hour,
2.5 seconds on the rev limiter, and then you coasted out the top.
Yep. Yeah, it hit the rev
138
limiter,
miles
and
an
I was like, what is that? Like, it sounded weird. Like, the rev limiter doesn't sound like a rev limiter on that car for some reason. I mean, it's so quiet. Like, there's so much dang sound deadening in that car. It's hard to even hear the engine. So I was, like, trying to figure out, like, I could feel the car stopped accelerating, but, yeah, by the time it was, like, I finally figured out, oh, it's on the rev limiter. Then I was like, yeah, I should probably let off and not blow this thing up. So, yeah, that's why I'm not so concerned with valves dropping and that kind of stuff, because we've already put some abuse to it, and it seems...
That thing's been tortured.
Yeah.
Endlessly tortured.
Yeah, so...
So, the
because-
dyno numbers 2 weeks ago
Mhm,
were not disappointing either.
mhm. Yep, we did break 600 horsepower, but
6...
you'll have to see...
Oh, we're
You'll
going
have
to
to
wait
see.
on that. Okay.
Wait and see to actually like hear what it sounded like and that kind of stuff, because that's why we did this.
So
But-
next week's video is...
well, this week's video is the
Or this
Talon
week,
engine
okay.
build, but the next week's video, I don't know if it's going to be on the Hot V or if it's going to be on the... I feel like it kind of has to be on the Hot V, but Yeah, you'll have to wait and see on that one.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, it was fast. It's it's definitely a sub 10-second car, and it's probably. I think we can get it into the 8s. I shouldn't say that, but all right. I will ask this, Calvin. When are you going to give the car, the Hot V car, a Hot Wheels style makeover? Because it would look good for a Hot Wheels Legends tour. It's exotic and neat. I'm working on that. We're gonna paint it. It's not. I'm not gonna put like the Hot Wheels logo on the side. I'm just saying it's gonna get a makeover. Yeah, we're working on it. Stay tuned.
Well, the car runs 138 miles an hour. We need to make it safe first.
Yes. Yep.
So,
couldn't the fuel pressure issue be solved by a bigger fuel line? This one, no. The one that we're having, should I just tell them what happened?
yeah, just be mindful of there may have been a issue.
Yeah, so we were having issues with the fuel pumps on the dyno, and we changed out the dual 450s to a Walbro 525. And we were able to get more out of that 525 than we've ever been able to get on a 525 on any other combo. So I don't think it's a fuel line issue because we've run a much larger fuel line with a 525. So, I like where your head's at, but in this particular situation, I don't think it's a fuel line issue.
So we need to get another fuel pump in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got to fix the relay.
Yep.
So there's a whole bunch of improvements that are going to happen between now and LS Fest.
Yep.
And we've got a dyno session tomorrow. We've got a race on Saturday. We've got to scramble to get everything done on Labor Day weekend. And then we got to be in LS Fest. That's the next. That's 2 events this week. Then we've got everything to get prepared for LS Fest. And, for folks who can't see what's happening behind the scenes, they have no idea how much labor goes into the efforts on this channel. There is literally, between yourself and myself, we're putting in 150 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
This is brutal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Could the 4200 be mounted completely sideways like the Daihatsu engine in the Tuk Tuk? Absolutely. You could do that. Are we going to do that?
Nope.
No. But yes, you could do that. You can do whatever you put your mind to. When are you doing an RB engine build? Call up PRP. I don't have the budget for that. I love the best sounding engine to me is an RB26. I don't have the money. It's just every time I hear one of those things in person, it's like, man, I wish they were affordable because man, they sound cool, but we didn't get them in the US, so you gotta import them, and they're just so expensive. But
what's up?
What's up?
We see evals. All right, the forged pistons and rods soon to be released for the 9297 or 37. Nice. Yeah, I said that wrong. 29 and 37. I'm getting tongue tied. With the going to.
No replacement for displacement. Get the big one. I don't know.
Yep.
We just do the 2.8 and 3.5 because we have tons of 4200 stuff. So,
yep.
But if you can make the 2.9 or 3.7 work for you, go for it. The RB engines are smooth as butter, but mega dollars as well. Yes, I wish, because man, there's one there was a guy with I think it was an R32 at Six Summer, and he did this fat burnout coming out of the one checkpoint. Oh, it sounded so good. It's just oh, they sound so good.
Oh.
If only we could find one in a junkyard, but nah, import only. Yeah, I know, I hear you. And some people I absolutely respect this. Some people, they will make no compromise. They have to have it. And they will only have that car. They will put aside all other dreams to have that. And that's really cool. But like for us, like
if you can't find it in a junkyard, I'm not interested.
Well, yeah, there's that. But like, you know, we would have to sell everything to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in
absolutely
doing
not.
And
I love when we can find a part at a junkyard.
Yeah. Or go to the
when
auto
we're
parts
on a
store.
Dragon Drive.
Yeah, and just go to the auto parts store and be like, hey, can I have a crank sensor for a Trailblazer? And they're like, oh yeah, that car that there's 5 million of them on the road right now? Yeah, here you go.
Yep.
You know, it's, yeah. If you want to do an RB but don't have RB money, try doing a Mercedes 2.8 M104 or the 3.2, but you want the revs, so the 2.8. They are in junkyards everywhere here in the US. But do they sound as good as the RB? I'm going to have to look up some engine clips on
I want to see what's out there for Mercedes engines because I just think there's an opportunity there. You know, they spend for $1 million. They cost $1 million to buy them, but there's nothing better than a cheap used Mercedes because the quality doesn't leave just because they get old. The owners just sell them cheap to get rid of them so that they can get the latest model. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. And I would love to see what's out there for a Mercedes engine and do something.
Yeah, that and like a BMW engine. I
want to do that too.
I could see doing a BMW engine at some point because, you know, the German stuff, like everybody's always like, oh, don't do Germans. There's so much bull crap on that and la la la. But it's like, okay, I can delete all that. Like, okay, yeah, it's got a bad water pump design that leaks coolant onto the serpentine belt and causes it to slip and then overheat or something. Like, apparently there's some issue. It's like, okay, put an electric water pump on it. Like,
done.
Like, people are like, oh, but. It's like, okay, so fix it. Like, I don't know. Those Mac Daddy RB videos are insane. They make some insane power and they spend to 10K plus. Yes, I'm a big fan, but I don't have the wallet for that. Curious how much turbo my Dodge 3.9 V6 can take. Dual setup, one per each 3-cylinder side. I
don't think the 3.9 is a very stout engine for being able to handle a lot of boost.
Yeah, but I think he's asking for a turbo size recommendation. So I would say you'd want something small.
Yeah.
I'd say like a GT25 series, like a 58 something. But yeah, whether the engine can hold up to it, that's the next question. But
yep.
I have an acquaintance in the UK with a Nissan Stagea with a turbo RB25. Eventually, I need to get over there and have a go with it. That sounds like a lot of fun. Calvin, I recently watched Wingman 703, and he blew another 07K. Would you be willing to get an Atlas 3500 to him? I left a comment on his video suggesting such. I'm not familiar with him. I'm not sure that the 3500 would work in his application just because I think the 07K is a transverse mounted engine and might be a little hard to package the 3500. But yeah, we don't really have anything laying around, so I'm not sure we could help with that. BMW has a bad habit of every wire being in a black coating. So it's like roadkill wiring set up on them, where every wire is black.
Everything's red.
Yeah, everything's red. Yeah. The BMW B58s are pretty stout, and there should be plenty in the junkyard. But really, a B58. I thought the B58 was like the Supra engine.
Yeah,
Because the B58's that's in the Supra. I know that, but I'm surprised to hear that they would be in the junkyard. Because if they are, that sounds really interesting.
I thought the N52 guys would be screaming.
Yeah, I know the N54 is one they always talk about, which I think is a 3-liter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The B58 is also a 3-liter, but
that's what we would want, is 3-liter.
Well, the B58 is, it's direct injected, and they also have I think they have the variable valve lift, which for like performance applications, I think they delete that, and they delete the direct injection as well. I would want to get on whatever has the best aftermarket support. So yeah.
One-eyed cat.
Okay. So there's not plenty of the B58, but yeah, I hear you. Okay. The B58 is the best BMW engine to build. Yeah, I've heard people say they're the new 2JZs. So,
I've heard somebody else make that claim.
Yeah. I don't know who that could be.
Yeah, he's just trying to get clicks. Yep. We're looking forward to the No Name also.
Yep.
For those not familiar with it, at the end of September at Sikeston, Missouri, there's an event called the No Name Nationals, and we will be attending.
Yep.
And very excited to get back there. We were there the first 2 events, and then unfortunate circumstances arose, and we had to miss 2 of them. And
this will be the year number 5 for the event. I have a 2005 Trailblazer with a 4200 in it. If I wanted to turbo it for around 600 to 650 horsepower, what would be a rough cost? I will change it to 2-wheel drive, by the way. I mean, it depends if you do the work yourself or not.
Sell them yours.
I've thought about selling mine. I think Jonathan has his for sale, actually. So, but yeah, as far as a rough cost, I don't even know. And you could do that with a stock engine. I mean, it depends how crazy you want to do the build. Like, if you want to do it like mine, where it's all custom front suspension stuff, like, it could get pretty expensive. The stock ECUs really are just a pain in the neck. I would recommend staying alone. I don't know, maybe like 10K. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a wild number. I mean, it probably could be a lot less.
If he wants to do it bucks down, you could do it for a lot less.
Yeah, you could do it for way less. But, like, I just don't know what he needs. The 3.9 is a 318, but the front 2 cylinders lopped off. Okay. Stages are awesome.
Oh, okay. That would be a half decent engine then.
Okay. Yeah, I know the 318, they're the 5.2, right?
Yeah.
5.2 Magnum.
They're tough as nails.
Yeah. That guy...
the only thing that killed them is timing chains didn't get replaced at 200,000 miles. You replace timing chains in those things, and you can get 1,000,000 miles out of a 318.
Also, do you think the current Charger is against the current M3? I researched both cars, and both are pretty much the same weight, engine, drivetrain, and transmission. Also, his 07K is mounted. I assume he means longitudinal. He probably ran out of characters. I don't know much about the M3. I'm really impressed with what Rob Dahm was able to get with his Charger. Um, like, yeah, he did the Roadkill Nights thing,
Okay.
and he basically like hacked the entire car, and like it's like running like a factory vehicle, but like he's like able to like insert some of his own stuff, and so he's I don't know, he's doing crazy stuff with like CAN stuff of like having the Haltech like intercept CAN messages and then inject some of his own stuff and like, feed the stock ECU the crank signal that makes it happy, and in reality he's like two-stepping the thing and like making lots of boost and shooting fireballs and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. When
so-
I hear Charger, I'm thinking of that electric
No,
Dodge
no,
that's
no,
out
no,
there
no.
now. And
No, they put a proper engine in them, but yeah. I assume you responded to One-Eyed Cat already.
Yep.
I assume that's what you responded. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, One-Eyed Cat. B58 is in the BMW SUV. Okay. It's also in the Supra. Yep. X3M and the M3s. Okay. B58. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Hurricane versus the B58. Like, B58 obviously has a lot more development under it. There's guys going, I think they're going sevens with those things. I think on the stock engine in Supras. Like, they're going stupid fast with those things. I mean, you got to spend $1 billion to do it, but like, it's
stock engine
I think so.
or rods and pistons.
And I don't know, but I know they're going sevens with those things. And with like,
there's no Hurricanes going that fast.
No, but like they haven't gotten the love.
Well,
Like,
they haven't sent us one.
hey, come on, Dodge.
Come on, Dodge.
Come on, let's go.
Come on, guys. Let's get
Let's
Dodge
do the
involved
thing.
here.
Let's do the thing. So yeah, saying the B58 versus the Hurricane. I don't know. There's guys doing cool stuff with the Hurricane too.
Yep.
But the B58s are definitely doing more impressive things. So it's hard to say.
A diesel Prius.
There you go. That's America right there. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right.
That's cool.
Well, we're getting close to the end here.
Yep.
How do you want to wrap this up?
I don't know. Do you have anything in mind?
No. We've talked about the dyno session.
Yep.
We talked about the passes at the track. We talked about the fact that we're putting a cage in the car.
Yep.
We got to figure out the rear end. So we got to figure out an easy way to put a independent rear center chunk into
Anybody
a Supra.
out there? If anybody out there, we need a Toyota 8-inch. What would be a G?
G662. But the problem with the G662 is we've got to figure out what the differential is going to be, because the Toyota 373 and numerically lower takes one carrier, and the 391 and numerically higher takes a different one. So we can't take the 307 gear out of a G662, put it into what we got. I think the best way to do it is going to be put an 8.8 in it.
We're hitting the rev limiter with the Supra.
Very fast.
Yes, and we need a
We need
differential.
to walk the dog.
Yeah, we need a differential ratio of, a higher or lower numerical ratio for the car. And doing some internet searches, they say that the Toyota 4Runner and Toyota truck rears will interchange into the Supra. But it sounds like maybe that won't work.
There's a whole bunch of parts that we got to get with it at the same time. And I don't know if we got 27 or 29 spline axles. So it's just
Mm.
this meatball just keeps growing.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking that the best way to handle this is going to put try and get a 8.8 out of a Ford Explorer,
Mhm.
and adapt that. But then your custom axles,
your
and it's just
$1,500 in axles,
right.
and it just
But the car's going to be fast if we
Mhm.
stay focused.
Mhm.
Boy,
See,
there's a statement of intelligence.
yeah. See, now I regret putting it into the Supra because it's shown potential, and I know that the rear end's being expensive.
Right.
uh,
All right, you're tired. I'm
Mhm.
tired.
Yeah, if anybody knows the hookup for that, I don't know, send me an email on nivlac5700@gmail.com or whatever. Um, and if you have something laying around that you think will work, I might be interested.
Yep.
So,
Good times.
mhm.
All right, bud. It's been 2 hours. Let's
Yep.
wrap it up.
All right.
Thank you.
That's it. That's the Living Late podcast, episode 7.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.